No, 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 no.
No.
Nice. The new ban list couldn't come fast enough. Here's the Salamangreat list I used to get the Master this season. And this will probably be the last time I do anything with this deck until we get the new support, since honestly, like, this deck has not really changed much at all since the entirety since Deco Talker like Heat Soul got released. This deck has barely changed. I think it's like 90% solved at this point, at its current state, without new support. So this is like the final hurrah, I guess, for it. And yeah, I've already explained a lot of card choices in my other video I did with the Promethean Princess, and I explained why I think Promethean Princess it's okay. It's nice to have in the extra. Like, I play it as of my 15 card. I am not playing Ambler Whale as most people are. I think this card is kind of cope, and it's not necessary, and anything else in your extra deck that the people are cutting to play Ambler Whale is much better than the Ambler Whale itself. Mainly Baguska, which just think of the top decks in the format, okay, and think, why would you want to cut Baguska? Okay, so one of my detailed explanation on my thoughts on Promethean Princess and Ambler Whale, go check out my other Salamangreat video, and then about all the standard like saddle ratios and stuff. Like, this is a mostly standard saddle ratios. There's like a few things maybe that deserve explanation here. One of them is, you notice I'm not playing Cynet mining. I swapped mining completely for desires. Since the Saladin's current state right now, since without new support, without Salamangreat of Fire, and without the Code of Soul new support, the only thing you really want to add off Cynet mining that feels worth it is Gazelle. Okay. Like, it is not worth going -1 to like add a Jack Dragon or like add a Spade hand. That just never feels worth it. So if you already have Gazelle, Cynet mining feels exceedingly mediocre to the point where you might not even like. You obviously have to play it because you want to get more bodies in the field, but it never feels nice to discard a hand trap to get one more Saddle Monster. And you have 6 copies of Gazelle, right? Just straight up 3 Circle, 3 Gazelle. So more often than not, like most of the time, you will have Gazelle, and that means mining feels like a huge neg. Whereas Pot of Desires, so it's always a plus. You don't need any single card in your deck. Like, honestly, it's not like salad cards are known for being high power level, right? Like oh no, you banished a Salad Trap. Oh no, you banished a Falco. Even I've banished double Jack Dragarm like multiple times, and it was completely fine because the extra card in hand, the extra hand trap that you draw out Desires, which we're running 15 hand traps of, so very high chance to drop hand traps off Desires. It feels nice, and I don't even sometimes you don't access Gazelle, which you might see in a replay. It's fine. Like, if I don't have Gazelle, I'm perfectly fine just playing Heat Soul Control with like 4 to 5 hand traps in hand. Like, you're gonna win those games too, since like no deck plays through 5 hand traps, and you're going to have follow up on the next turn since Salito's drawn you like 2-3 cards at least. There's one aspect of Cynet mining that I do miss though, and that's oddly enough, that's when going second, Cynet mining feels a lot better than Desire, which sounds kind of weird, but the way this deck is this deck doesn't run board breakers. Obviously, I want to run hand traps because the deck is not a very high power level, so I can't like run dead board breakers that are dead going first. I want my non-engine to do stuff going both first and second, which is why I run hand traps. Because you're running hand traps, Desires drawing into hand traps going second does not really, it doesn't help you as much. You know, I'm gonna say that right now. There are multiple times where if Desires was mining going second, I actually would have won because I would have accessed Gazelle, whereas Pod Desires, while very nice value-wise and advantage-wise, you know, sometimes you're just looking for a Gazelle going second, and I didn't draw a Gazelle, which meant my best play was like Hitso or Prey to jam an Accesscode Talker into an established board, and I get stopped by like a single Infirm or like a single leftover, like I would hand trap Purrely so that they would end on a Beauty, and then if I don't draw Gazelle, I actually can't play through the damn Purrely Beauty in the first place, and I still, you know, I draw 2 hand traps off Pod Desires after hand trapping them twice on their turn. You know, that's great. I'm still gonna lose that game, so yeah, that's one thing. I actually like mining going second a lot better than Desires, and sometimes Salad kind of struggles with non-destruction removal, namely Book of Moons. Thankfully, Kashtira is not as popular anymore, so people aren't running the actual Book of Moon, and only like book of like effects you're gonna face are like Vanquish Souls and like hard drawn, or not hard drawn, but I guess the Ruma Karma Cannon, which is not the most popular card or the most common card. And having mining is like kind of an extender in a sense, since you can just discard any sound monster to add Gazelle, and then that will be a way to trigger Gazelle to let you continue playing. Whereas, you know, Desires, it's not going to help you versus Book, unfortunately. But generally, like against Vanquish Souls, I will just hand trap the Mad Love. I will just prevent them from being able to add their Dust Devil or the quick play spell that books in the first place. Usually you can do that. And I guess another semi-common card you might see in Salad that helps play through interruptions like Book is Will the Salamangreat. I like Will. I really like this card. I would prefer to play it over Not, but it's just in formats that are like high power like this, I need to draw non-engine. I need to draw hand traps. Okay, you just cannot afford to not draw hand traps like in this format. You will die. Will is not going to help you if your opponent salvages their board. Okay, so especially if they're Purrely, or God forbid Math-Mech sets up Super Factory plus Terahertz with a spell negate. You know, Will is not going to help you there. You really want to try to stop. You gotta try to stop them before they get that far. Otherwise, it's like a losing battle. And Will also is, unlike mining, Will is not a starter. It's also not even that great of an extender. It extends past Disruption, true, but the first copy of Will is worse than the second. Is like worse than your second Salad monster. Like for example, Foxy plus Will, kind of mediocre. Foxy plus Spinny, Foxy plus even Falco or Jack Drygar, it gets you the same like amount of bodies like as Will would, except you actually have more Salad monsters in circulation, so that's better. And likewise, Flame Buffalo with a Salad monster is good. Flame Buffalo with Will is absolute like dog watered. So in addition to like, you know, being kind of situational, and you only run the one off, you wouldn't run 3, so it's kind of weird. Situation where you would actually search for this, they almost never come up, so it's like a Saki one-off you would draw into sometimes. So I just never found myself wanting to even do the dump Will to add it off Sonic Wolf unless I was already like had control and multiple traps and I was removing my resources. But at that point, you already won the game if you get that far in a grind game. Yeah, the one more interesting thing I guess to talk about is Droll. So Droll is obviously Droll is a good card this format, but half the reason I'm playing Droll in Salad because Salad is the one deck where Droll is true anti-maxi, in that you can Droll your opponent for 1 card and then do your entire full combo normally anyways, and then combo while only giving your opponent 1 draw. Very few other decks, I'm not even sure if there is another deck that's played right now that can actually fully ignore the downside of Droll. This deck just never plays in the Droll. You either activate Circle in the draw phase, or you activate all your searches in one chain. That one chain being the chain where you link off into Baelings. You have Buffalo and you have Baelings. And that's it. So at most, if you start with Buffalo, you can wait until you give your opponent an extra draw, and then trigger Buffalo to draw 2, and then you can Droll them and then still continue comboing onwards. But most of the time, if you don't start with Buffalo, you just Droll on the... If they max your normal summon, you just Droll on your Baelings. You don't care about Sanctuary. There's one thing nice about from Reaping Princess is it lets you end, on top of being an interruption, it lets you end on the Relink Sunlight Wolf without the need for Sanctuary at all. That's another reason why I run Desires, but I forgot to mention that, because you don't need Sanctuary to relink your Salad Link monsters. And so you don't care about this getting banished, and therefore I am more than willing to roll my own Baelings on after they max me, and then continue comboing there. And even better, a lot of times people will hold off on using on Maxi until you trigger Gazelle, and in that case, when you trigger Gazelle, you've already searched for Baeling, you already searched your Sanctuary, and if you have Flame Buffalo, you already got your Buffalo effect off. So they're gonna draw the 1 card off the Gazelle, they chain to that, and then you're gonna Droll them, and they're gonna get no more cards. And your entire combo is unhindered, since, you know, randomly, you know, Salamangreat's gimmick of dumping cards to the grave and re-adding them from the grave, usually it's like kind of mid, like doesn't really, it just feels like a convoluted way to search cards from your deck to your hand. But playing around Droll is like the one thing that playstyle actually accomplishes. So with that, it's like you're running, and this is like the one advantage that Salad has over any other Slybers deck, I suppose, is it runs more outs to Maxi in that case. And on top of the Maxis and the Call by the Graves, you know, the Maxi tax, you do have triple Droll. Droll as more Maxi outs. And obviously, if you have a hand where Droll is your only way to out Maxi, use Desires before you like combo off. I know it's tempting to Desires after you combo, like after you add your Sanctuary and after you've done your Salad Trap, but don't get greedy. Just play around Maxi and Desires first. You're fine. Whatever you banish will not matter, trust me. And yeah, with that, you know, card for card, just 15 hand traps. I think the Droll, Maxi, Ash, and Imperm are staple in this deck, and then I just ran the Veilers. Kashtira is not common enough to justify Nibiru, because Nibiru is not very good against anything else. Even Math Mech, like, cool. It stops Terahertz, I guess, but I still lose to the Super Factorio, unfortunately. So I gotta try to drop Imperm plus Ash or Imperm plus Veiler so that they just don't access Super Factorio, like, at all. And 3 Desires. Okay, the Desires is going away. You can replace Desires with any card. You can honestly replace it with like Crossout, Third Foxy, or anything. It's fine. That's the only hit on the balance of this deck. And yeah, probably the Third Foxy. In all honesty, that way you have the nice ratio: 3 Spinny, 3 Gazelle, 3 Foxy, 3 buffs. Extra deck: 3 Baelings, 3 Wolf. Yes, this is necessary. If you can have the room to run this, you absolutely should. Any game going past turn 3, these come in handy. If you want to play around Nibiru or hand traps, these come in. These come into play. Ninkaribo, only really used to make Heat Soul most of the time, but sometimes, you know, it can banish their opponent's Welcome Labrynth, a big Welcome Labrynth. Yeah, Accesscode package, Promethean Princess, Heat Soul, Mirat Salio. Dagusa, don't cut this card. This card's ridiculous, this format. And until we get the new support, this is like honestly the best part of Salad's end board. So with that, let's move on to the games. So this is going to be a game that showcases Droll's anti-Maxi properties. So obviously, first off, you know, we're gonna circle in the draw phase, just play around the potential draws our opponent has, since they really, you just want them to not do absolutely anything to you. And you're gonna normal summon the Jack Jaguar, which is gonna trigger Baylink, then you're gonna trigger Gazelle, and here's where they chain Maxi. And this is perfect scenario. This is the only time you're ever gonna add a card from your deck to your hand on the Baylinks. Okay, like aside from stuff like Desires, which we don't have in our hands. So after the Baylinks thing resolves, you will no longer add any more cards, which means you're free to draw. And this is the best case scenario, since they chain to Gazelle, they only get one draw off Droll. If they wanted to play around, you know, you drolling Maxi, they would Maxi on the normal summon, so that way, if I wanted to add Sanctuary and for some lines, like this one for example, where I want to relink with Sanctuary and not go for Princess, then they would potentially get 2 draws off the normal summon, but nobody is going to play around Droll, like getting their Maxi drolled, right? Like, that's not even statistically the most likely. More likely you're going to get you're gonna get Ashed or called by anyway, so like it doesn't even matter most of the time. And people don't even know that Salad can like droll the Maxi in the first place, so obviously no one's gonna play around it, and that's good because now you get them, they get the least value out of their Maxi. And this is the Bagooska line. Since we have both Jack Drakkar and Spinny, I'm just skipping the Fire Prince entirely and going for the Bagooska board because I think Bagooska is way better, especially when back to the Salad Trap. So we're gonna Salad get the Falco out, and then relink the Sunlight Wolf. And then Sunlight Wolf's gonna add back the Rage that I dumped, and then Jack Drakkar put back the Sunlight Wolf and go to the Sunlight Wolf zone, add back Gazelle, make Bagooska, and set Rage. And normally I would, most of the time I would, if I'm going for Bagooska, I would dump Roar, since Roar just like and protects Bagooska better. So I think I just kind of forgot that in a moment and dumped Rage, but you'll see it works out against most decks anyways. This Rage is a bust card too. Our opponent's playing Purrely, and once again, Bagooska absolute FTK against this deck. Do not cut Bagooska this meta. So like I'm not even drolling. I'm literally not even drolling them because I don't care what they added off of my friend Purrely. They're not clearing the Bagooska anyways. When they put 2 on board, this is when you want to pop the Rage, because their only out to Bagooska in their extra deck is Azalea. So you just Rage the two level 1s, and now they can't make Azalea, and they have 3 cards in hand, so they can't get 2 more hats out anyway. So and even if they did, they would commit their entire hand to out 1 Bagooska and have nothing else. So don't cut Bagooska for the whale, kids. Alright, so this is a game where I don't go for Bagooska since my hand doesn't allow it. So we normal summon Flame Buffalo and Baylings. Always chain block the Flame Buffalo, add the Sanctuary, and dump Jack and draw 2 cards. And draw into another Flame Buffalo, so we're gonna Desires, and draw into... yeah, this is you know, sometimes you just don't draw Salad monsters, and that's fine, because that means your hand is 5 interruptions instead of Salad monsters. So I'm actually gonna link off Baylinks and then return Baylinks of Jack Drakkar, and I'm not even going to like I'm not even gonna go into Fire Princess or any of that stuff. I'm just keeping the Baylinks on board since I hard drew both my Salad Traps. So relink here lets Rage be alive without actually sending a monster, and Roar is live, and I had to relink the Baylinks in order to summon back the Jack Jaguar in the first place. So maybe I should have relinked for the second Baylinks just to play around a Kaiju. That was probably the correct choice. Yeah, because I wasn't going to be able to get a relinked Sunlight Wolf in this case, since you already relinked for the Baylink, so you can't make that if you want to keep a Rage live without sending a monster. And our opponent's going to Prosperity for banishing 6, and I'm just going to let that go and see what they're playing. And they add 1 Evenly Match. And I'm going to Droll them because Droll actually FTKs Kashtira if they start with Prosp. So keep in mind, they added Evenly Match, right? I'm gonna roar the evenly matched. And look at this Giga Chat. Second evenly matched. And that means I'm gonna have to rage send Jack Drygar and then pop my own Bailings. Just so I get as many of my cards in the grave as possible, as opposed to getting them banished. Like, the brain on this guy, he already had an evenly in their hand. And they added a second one off Prosperity. Playing around the hard Ron Rage. This guy is like just good at the game. And they're gonna thrust for Imperm, you know, a Pointer's Band. And they're gonna Tactics to look at my hand, and that's not good because I have one starter, half a starter, and they're gonna summon. Why did they summon this in defense? I was just gassing this guy up, and they summoned a Kashtira Ogre in defense. What the hell are you playing around? Lightning Storm, I guess. So anyway, I top deck Foxy. And Foxy is gonna reveal a Spinny. That is the best case scenario. And Kashtira Ogre is gonna banish, reveal 5 3-ups in my deck. All 5 of those are 3-ups. That's why we run Desires. So my line of thinking is, I'm thinking that's an Imperm because I got a delay off the Foxy. And if I dump Spinny, go for Mirage Salio, and get Impermed, I'm kind of cooked a little bit because this Mirage Salio you can't link off for Bailings, so that it's just stuck there, and I wouldn't be able to get any extra value out of it. So I'm going to Spinny on the Foxy, and then revive the Spinny. And I'm not going to go into Mirage Salio, I'm actually going to link both off directly into Silent Wolf. That way I can get the Jack Drygar, because if I go Mirage Salio and Mirage Salio gets Impermed and I can't link it off, then I also lose the Jack Drygar resource in my grave. And now I'm going to Silent Wolf attempt to add back a monster. That was bait. That was complete bait. I do not care. You notice I don't even have Gazelle, so there's nothing even good to add back. Like, I can add back Flame Buffalo without a discard. Like, nice. And they're going to Imperm that, take the bait, and this ultimately just wins us the game. Since now I can enter battle phase and just attack over the defense position Ogre that I put in defense position for I don't know why. And now I'm going to link off into Bailings, just so I have a Bailings in grave. And this is one of the weird game states where Promethean Princess comes along. Like, it shows up in like these weird grind game states where you have like a Silent Wolf and like a random salad monster left over, and then you can leverage that into an actual interruption instead of like just leaving the Silent Wolf on board. And comes in handy because they top deck Fender, and Fender is just gonna get destroyed by the Promethean Princess. Promethean Princess, if there's one thing that Promethean Princess is really good at, it's absolutely destroying Kashtira monsters. Since it just, like, Fender doesn't do anything to this deck when you do the Promethean line. I experienced a wave of emotions this duel. Turn 1, I normal summon Foxy, right? We get shifted. I have to Max C. I mean, I have to call by and they have to Max C. Excuse me. Sorry for the spoilers. One way or another, my turn was gonna get ended. You know, thank you for keeping my very toxic Salamangreat deck in check, Maxi. Thank you. And our opponent's gonna play Kashtira, so they care about the Maxi significantly less than I do. And I top deck Effect Veiler, like I said. I'm gonna Veiler the Unicorn. This is I mean, I don't care if they have Theosis. If they hard draw Theosis and they want to extend under my Maxi, I'm perfectly fine with that. But what I don't want them to do is I don't want them to add Verve and normal summon Fender, because they added Kashtira Spirit Cloud, so that tells me they probably already have a Fender in hand already. So yeah, I don't. Just keep this Kashtira Unicorn on the field and hope they don't hard draw the Verve, which they didn't. So yeah, that's gonna pass back to me, and like this guy thinks he's safe. This guy thinks he's not dying this turn. All right, so Foxy, I'm gonna pitch Spinny and pop the Raid Soul for some reason. So it's not like it mattered. And now they're gonna Kashtira Unicorn, and look what they rip. Okay, they rip Accesscode. This guy thinks ripping Accesscode is gonna save him from not dying this turn. Look at this guy. Alright, so I'm gonna teach you the line that lets you OTK without needing Accesscode. Okay, Splash Mage 1. 4 bodies. You need 4 bodies to do this, okay? Splash Mage, revive any body, revive Spinny, link these two into Update Jammer, link Update Jammer and Splash Mage into Transcode Talker. Transcode Talker is going to attack twice. Transcode Talker revive Update Jammer, link into Hitzo. Hitzo attacks twice. Okay, so now you have a double attacking Transcode Talker and a double attacking Hitzo. So that's 28, 28, 33, 33. That's about 13,200 damage right there. I did my math right? No, sorry, 13,000. That's 12,200 damage, right? That's gonna OTK through any single monster easily, possibly 2 if they're weak enough. And Kashtira Unicorn is definitely weak enough to where they're not dying, to where they're not living after. Now enter battle. Attack once with Heat Soul, attack once with Transcode, attack once with Transcode, attack another time with Heat Soul. That's word of advice. If you don't want to die against Salamangreat, which I know it's a deck you probably don't face very often, but rip the Update Jammer. Do not rip the access code. That, especially if your board does not have very many monsters on it to protect your life points. Update Jammer is what you want to hit if you want to stay alive. This is a game that I really should not have won. And if my opponent played properly, I probably wouldn't have. But they're gonna normal summon Ariana. So anytime you go second versus Lab, you know, it kind of sucks because your hand traps, you can only hand trap so much. And I can hit the Ariana, which is, you know, nice and all, but they have the Clue Cock and they have a Furniture. So I didn't accomplish anything out of this. I maxi. Do not maxi here. I don't know why I maxied here. Do not maxi chaining to the Furniture. That's not correct because they're gonna summon, if they have Lady Labrynth, they're gonna summon Lady Labrynth. So wait for the potential Lady Labrynth, like at least before you chain maxi, or at least chain maxi to the trap card. Like chain it to something, right? So you can potentially get 2 draws. Now I'm only gonna get 1 draw out of this, so I just lost the card for free. And they're gonna set the Big Welcome. That's not gonna dissuade them from activating it anyways. And Klulox, they're just gonna add it back to their hands. They already have a monster to bounce, so they're gonna Big Welcome Lab, and then they're gonna Lady Labrynth, and they're gonna set the bench up bear. That joke's on you. I'm playing a Link deck. Loud, extremely loud, incorrect buzzer noises. And now they're gonna add that to their hand, and they're gonna rip 1, and they're gonna rip the Famed Buffalo, which kind of sucks. Not gonna lie, I would have liked to keep that, and they're gonna add back. They're gonna reset Eradicator, which is this Eradicator, if you can tell by my hand, it's not gonna work out. Now they're gonna use Clue Clock just to be able to summon the Lady Labrynth, and I'm gonna chain maxi to the Lady Labrynth. That's how I should have done turn 1, and I'm gonna get another card. I don't know why they Okay, so they're gonna Dimensional Barrier, and you might think I drew Soundring and Circle, right? Why not chain Circle to the D Barrier so that it blocks Lady Labrynth? So that if they wanna Eradicator me, they gotta, you know, they gotta sack off the lovely lady. Well, I don't want them to sack off the lovely Labrynth. Lovely Labrynth is my win condition. As weird as that sounds right now. Well, you'll see in a little bit. So I'm gonna just let them get a trap card, and they picked the. Thank goodness they only picked Welcome Labrynth. They picked the wrong one. If there was any disruption, like if the Runick Stun, I would have lost. But you know, they got overconfidence. Now they're gonna Eradicator me, which I'm gonna chain Circle to, and Circle obviously is gonna add Gazelle, and my Desires goes away, so it's fine. I just lost 1 card out of that, and on a normal summon Jack Dagger, it's gonna get bounced, and by the Big Welcome. So if the Lady Labrynth was not on the field, I would have lost on the spot because my turn would have ended. But look what happens. Okay, they get greedy. They used Lovely Labrynth's effect. This is a huge misplay. Okay, they saw my hand. They know I have Gazelle in hand. By using this, they have a chance to lose the game on the spot because they will hit the Jack Jaguar out of my hand to trigger Gazelle. And guess what happens? They do just that. They bounce the Jack Jaguar back only to send it to the grave, which is going to trigger Gazelle, and now they have no more interruptions. So I'm gonna full combo off, and because I have Jack Dagger and Spinny, this is game. They're just straight up dead. Yeah, activate Sanctuary, Relink, Baylings, then Jack Dagger, put back the Baylings, resummon itself, update Jammer, transcode, update Jammer, access code. Yeah. I know they must be thinking, yo, what bullshit, man. Update Jammer access code? Like bro, you EV'd me and hand ripped me for 2, okay? Granted, I'm gonna admit, I'm gonna be real with you, I only won this game because of double Maxi. Which is an absolute wild thing to say, like against Labrynth, but Maxi was the reason I won this game. Not because I outplayed my opponent or anything, not because my opponent misplayed. It was just because I resolved Maxi to draw 3 cards. Okay. It's as simple as that, really. So, this is a game where we go second, and I swear, every time I don't shotgun Maxi in the draw phase, my opponent opens exactly Fender. Like, I get punished every time for holding Maxi. For like, I'm not even playing against Kashtira. They just opened the 2 Fender and 50 cards. So anyway, enough ranting about the Maxi. Now they're gonna add Xiamen, and this is why it kind of sucks. We're gonna normal summon Xiamen and use Xiamen's effect to add Foxy-tune, and I'm gonna Maxi here. Why? Because if I don't, they're gonna make Baron, and then they're gonna use Foxy-tune to get Shirakuze from the deck, and they have any other punk that's full combo with the Baron on board, and my Maxi does nothing. So I'm gonna Maxi for -1 and hope they end turn while they still have Foxy-tune in hand, and that sucks because my hand is not particularly great right now. Although we do have a callback for Maxi, and it just depends what I draw off the desires. So I have to play through a Fender and most likely an interruption in their back row. So desires and see what we get. We banish nothing important at all and draw Gazelle. That's excellent. And we have a Droll for next turn. So Gazelle, we're gonna add Spinny, going to Baylings. And I'm trying to bait out the Fender right now. The earlier they use Fender, the better. We have our first in-perm on Baylings with in-perm on Baylings alert. Alright, so that's gonna leave my Gazelle to go free. And you know, they hold off Fender quite well. They did not fire off Fender early, which is really good for them. I don't know, like the in-perm kind of makes them look like a little bit of a clown here, but the Fender is great because now I'm gonna go into Mirage Stalio, and I'm gonna use Mirage Stalio's effect. And this is gonna force out the Fender, because if they don't Fender now, I'm just gonna link off the Mirage Stalio and turn Fender to hand. So that good on them. Anyway, I get Falco out, and Falco is gonna reset the circle, and Jack Jaguar is gonna put back the Baylings to resummon itself, and that's gonna add back the Gazelle. And I can't really make a... I could have gone for Baguska line, actually. Like, Baguska and then bring back the Silent Wolf, but... You know, maybe that was actually the more correct line, because instead I go for Movement Princess route, which... Honestly, considering our opponent's only drawing the 4 cards and we have 2 hand traps, it was fine anyways, but Baguska might have been a bit better. So Premium Princess comes out, and then bring back Sunlight Wolf. I'm gonna attack over their board. Then main phase 2, bring links back into the Sunlight Wolf. And then, again, I hard drew the Rage, so you still want to relink it to keep the Rage good effect on, and they're gonna Kaiju me. So here's the thing: you might be thinking Kaiju on their single Sunlight Wolf is devastating with Premium Princess and Great, right? Absolutely not. Actually, first of all, I could have just summoned Gazelle straight up off of the Kaiju because my Sunlight Wolf got sent to grave, and then that would have made my Premium Princess live immediately with a Baylings and Grave to protect it. But I don't do that because I have a circle. I have a circle in hand, and you can do something really cool with this. So they're gonna Foxy-tune now and get out Xiamen. I'm gonna circle, add a Salamangreat to my hand, and here you want to activate Rage. So my toggle was off for some reason. My toggle was an auto, so I didn't actually I missed the timing window. So ideally you should have used Rage right after the circle, but instead they're gonna use the on effect. So that's gonna burn a Veiler from me, and that makes it a little awkward because now that gives them a chance to trigger Fenrir. Although to be honest, it doesn't really make that much of a difference because all Fenrir is doing is banishing the Kaiju they gave me. And now before they can link synchro in the Baron, I'm gonna Rage, pop their Fenrir, and that's gonna trigger Gazelle. And now Gazelle's effect can dump Roar, and at any time, if they had more extenders, somehow, I haven't even used Peruvian Princess yet. So, yeah, you will always be able to, if you play your resources right, you'll have a way to play through a Kaiju and keep Peruvian Princess alive, even if they remove your Sunlight Wolf. And here they're, I think they were here for the Destroy missions and they played this out, so just enjoy this classic transcode update Access OTK that's not even necessary since they're P.U.N.K and they already burned themselves for 1200 with the Xiamen alone. So this is one of like the 3 times I made Heat Soul in my entire Master climb. And this is a misplay. So this is a misplay. I panicked. You see Flame Buffalo and Gazelle on the field, like in your hand at the same time. You should still normal summon Flame Buffalo. Like you're not gonna use his effect to dump Gazelle and draw 2 cards. We're not gambling that hard. But the reason you normal summon Buffalo is you link off into Baylings, and then you add Sanctuary, then you relink Baylings, and then you trigger Gazelle. And then you can, it would be the same as what we have right now, except you just have an extra body on the field. And if that play loses to, ironically that play is like the one play that loses to your Baylings getting hand trapped, but I mean if they do that, like better your Flame Buffalo than your Gazelle, because if they do that then your Gazelle is still in your hand for follow up, whereas now if they hand trap Gazelle, I don't really have a follow up for next turn. So yeah, instead I normal summon Gazelle, and the only real line is really the 1 card Heat Soul play. You can go Promethean Princess for a pop instead, but you know, it's whether you want 3 draws or a pop. Since I didn't even use Circle, so now like going through the Sunlight Wolf route, I don't even get a circled add back, so it's like whatever. Now Baylings will add the Sanctuary, and you can link these 2 off into Sunlight Wolf, Jack Dragar, put back the Marat Stalio, add back to Gazelle, link off into Lingaribo for the different attribute, and go into Heat Soul. And I'm gonna draw a second Gazelle. What a draw. So our opponent's playing Runick Stun. And at this point, I was holding Heat Soul because generally if I have like a few hand traps at hand, I'm gonna hold off Heat Soul until I activate a hand trap, just so I don't play around Thrust, or so I play around Thrust as much as possible, since it's very unlikely to draw a hand trap off of Heat Soul for an actual extra interruption. So if you just play around Thrust as long as possible, and then maybe they even play into Droll, and then you Heat Soul, then that completely plays around it without Heat Soul in the draw phase, to where they can potentially just thrust for talents or thrust for anything and then win the game that way. But I mean, this deck is obviously not playing thrust, so they're gonna summon Fusion. This Fusion is not resolving. Yeah, we're imperming that. They're not getting Falcon. Draw your semi-limited Falcon. That's about to be limited. And this is count the Heat Soul activations. Okay, Heat Soul activation 3. I've drawn 3 cards off Heat Soul. Okay, enter battle phase. End the battle phase. They're gonna Runick, summon another Hugin to lock me out, and I'm gonna max. Maybe I shouldn't have maxed that. Like I have 8-9 cards in hand after this maxi. And I have no backdoor. They're all hand traps, so I'm gonna have to discard them. Yeah, that's your Hugins are never resolving when I have a Heat Soul on board. I only make Heat Soul when my hand is like 4 hand traps anyways, so yeah, main phase 2, I'm gonna activate Sanctuary just to get out of my hand. I'm gonna dump one of the Flame Buffaloes. And then I'm gonna draw another card. 4K. Draw 4 cards off Heat Soul. I'm gonna Card of Demise. They think the Card of Demise is resolving. Yeah. This guy thinks he's gonna resolve cards and play the game. Both of us think we're gonna play the game. This game. That's Pepe laugh. Number 5. So I drew 5 cards off Hitzel. Okay, I enter battle phase, and is this another runic spell in your back row? Yes, it is. Okay, so another turn where I can't play. Discarding Foxy. Foxy's actually good. Foxy, next turn you're dead. Foxy is allying the Kaiser Coliseum. And their turn, I'm actually not even using Hitzel yet. I'm using Hitzel at the end phase, and then hidden secret effect. By the way, how many of you have triggered Higo Tiger Hitzel's secret effect when you are below 2k, and you just summon any Link 3 lower Cybers from your extra deck? I've used this effect twice in my entire life, and I must say this: I've used Hitzel Tiger, Deco Tiger Hitzel to draw 6 cards. That is more cards in one game than I've drawn with Hitzel in like 5 months. Like honestly, like we burn ourselves. This is like self-DK. And I'm gonna enter battle phase. They're gonna pop the Sanctuary. They can't pop anything because we have Bailings to protect. Finally, I'm gonna Foxy pop the Kaiser Coliseum, and that set card better be something. And yeah, it kind of is. It kind of is. So we're gonna make Transco Talker and just set like surely now. I have triple Droll in hand, by the way. Triple Droll. It's Card of Demise or bust. You don't draw Card of Demise, you're done. Okay. This is the rare footage of a stun game where the stun player plays the game less than the other player. So yeah, one last ride for Salad in its current form in Master Duel. I wanted to see if this was actually viable in this format, and it's alright. It's fine. It's not as good as Mathmech, the best Cybers deck, but I mean it's perfectly competent. There are way worse decks that you can play that can get you the Masters. I think this might be like even better than the Brinces deck I posted before. It's just because with Foxy and stuff, you have more Alpha Floodgates, and you play better in the back row because Rage is a ridiculous card that was for some reason legal in a rotation series that was lower power level. When Rage is honestly the best card in the deck right now, so yeah. If you want even more Salamangreat gameplay, I did make a video with detailing Promethean Princess, this package and the pros and cons of it, and more gameplay. So check that out.